Have you ever felt the unsettling chill of a narcissist's gaze when you dare to ignore them? It's as if you've flipped a switch, triggering a cascade of behaviors that can leave you bewildered and questioning your own reality. In a world where self-absorption often masquerades as confidence, understanding the daily rituals of a narcissist can be both enlightening and empowering. This exploration isn't just about identifying toxic patterns, it's about reclaiming your autonomy and fostering healthier relationships. Philosophically speaking, the dynamics between self and other are crucial in understanding human interactions. Narcissists thrive on validation and attention, often viewing others as mere extensions of themselves. When you withdraw your attention, it disrupts their carefully constructed narrative, leading them to react in ways that can be both predictable and perplexing. They may resort to manipulation, passive-aggressive behavior, or even dramatic displays to regain their sense of control. This daily dance of ego and insecurity raises profound questions about our own identities and the roles we play in the lives of those around us. By recognizing these patterns, you can not only protect yourself, but also gain insights into the broader human experience of connection and disconnection. Imagine the power of understanding the psychological mechanisms at play when a narcissist feels ignored. You'll gain the ability to navigate these interactions with a newfound clarity, transforming feelings of confusion into strategic responses. Instead of feeling like a pawn in their game, you can step into a position of strength, making choices that align with your values and emotional well-being. This shift in perspective is not just about survival, it's about thriving in the face of adversity. By dissecting the daily habits of narcissists, you can learn to set boundaries, communicate effectively, and ultimately foster healthier relationships, both with yourself and others. Moreover, delving into the philosophical implications of narcissism can illuminate the broader societal trends that contribute to this behavior. In an age dominated by social media and curated personas, the allure of self-centeredness is more pronounced than ever. By engaging with these ideas, you not only elevate your understanding of individual interactions, but also gain insight into collective human behavior. This knowledge is invaluable in a world that often prioritizes superficial connections over genuine relationships. As you embark on this journey of discovery, remember that the insights you gain will empower you to reclaim your narrative. You will learn to recognize the signs of narcissistic behavior and respond with confidence, ensuring that your emotional landscape is not dictated by someone else's need for validation. The urgency of this understanding cannot be overstated. In a world where relationships are increasingly transactional, cultivating emotional intelligence is essential for personal and communal well-being. In essence, the daily rituals of narcissists reveal not only their vulnerabilities, but also the opportunities for growth and resilience within ourselves. By engaging with these insights, you're not just learning to cope, you're actively participating in the philosophical quest for authenticity and deeper connections. This exploration will not only enrich your understanding of narcissism, but also empower you to foster relationships that honor your true self. In the realm of human relationships, few dynamics are as perplexing and challenging as those involving narcissists. Understanding narcissism is not merely an academic exercise, it is a pressing need for anyone who has encountered the often tumultuous effects of this personality trait. Narcissists exhibit a distinct pattern of behavior, particularly when faced with perceived neglect or rejection, which can leave those around them feeling confused and emotionally drained. This discussion aims to illuminate the daily strategies narcissists employ after being ignored, revealing the underlying philosophical implications of their actions and the emotional toll it takes on others. At its core, narcissism is characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. These traits can create significant relational challenges, particularly when one party seeks distance or disengagement. For instance, when someone chooses to ignore a narcissist, it can trigger a cascade of defensive and manipulative behaviors. Narcissists may resort to tactics such as gaslighting, passive-aggressive remarks, or even overt displays of anger to regain control and attention. This behavior raises essential philosophical questions about the nature of selfhood and the ethics of interpersonal relationships. Why do some individuals feel entitled to demand attention at the expense of others' emotional well-being? What does it reveal about our societal values regarding self-worth and validation? The emotional fallout from interactions with narcissists can be profound. Victims often report feelings of confusion, self-doubt, and even guilt for asserting their boundaries. This dynamic underscores a significant problem. Many individuals lack the tools to navigate these complex relational landscapes. Without a clear understanding of narcissistic behavior, it becomes easy to internalize the blame, leading to a cycle of emotional distress. The content will address this gap by providing insights into the typical responses of narcissists when ignored, equipping individuals with the knowledge needed to protect their emotional health and maintain their boundaries. To facilitate this understanding, it may be beneficial to introduce key concepts such as narcissistic supply, the attention and admiration that narcissists crave, and the drama triangle, which outlines the roles of victim, persecutor, and rescuer in dysfunctional relationships. Visual aids such as diagrams illustrating these concepts could enhance comprehension and retention. By breaking down these ideas, the audience can better grasp the motivations behind narcissistic behavior and recognize the patterns that often emerge in their interactions. Ultimately, the discussion surrounding narcissism is not just about identifying problematic behaviors, it is about empowering individuals to reclaim their agency in relationships. By understanding the daily tactics employed by narcissists after being ignored, individuals can cultivate resilience and develop strategies to protect themselves from emotional manipulation. This knowledge serves as a crucial tool for fostering healthier interactions and promoting self-awareness in a world where the lines of interpersonal dynamics are often blurred. As we delve into this topic, we will uncover not only the behaviors of narcissists, but also the philosophical implications of our responses, paving the way for a more profound understanding of self and others in the intricate tapestry of human relationships. Your insights on narcissism are invaluable, and we want to hear more from you. Join our community in the comments below to share your experiences, ask questions, and connect with others navigating similar challenges. Your feedback not only enriches our discussions, but also helps everyone feel understood and supported. Let's keep learning together. Your participation is crucial. Subscribe for more content and continue this important journey with us. Understanding the behavior of narcissists, particularly in the context of being ignored, requires a philosophical lens that examines the nature of selfhood, validation, and interpersonal dynamics. Narcissists often thrive on attention and validation, viewing relationships as a means to bolster their self-esteem. When ignored, they may react in ways that reveal their underlying insecurities and manipulative tendencies. This behavior can be understood through the philosophical concept of the self as it relates to others. The narcissist's self-concept is heavily dependent on external validation, making any perceived neglect feel like a personal affront. To navigate interactions with narcissists, it is essential to establish clear boundaries. For instance, if a colleague frequently seeks your approval and becomes hostile when you don't engage, recognizing this pattern can empower you to respond more effectively. Instead of reacting with guilt or confusion, consider adopting a stance of emotional detachment. This means acknowledging their need for attention without feeling compelled to fulfill it. By doing so, you reinforce your own sense of self-worth and autonomy, which can diminish the narcissist's power over you. Practically, this can be achieved by practicing assertive communication. When confronted with manipulative behavior, calmly stating your boundaries can help maintain your emotional equilibrium. Moreover, understanding the philosophical implications of empathy can shift your perspective on narcissistic behavior. While it's easy to fall into the trap of feeling sorry for a narcissist, true empathy requires recognizing their struggle without sacrificing your own well-being. This balance can be achieved through the practice of compassionate detachment. For example, if a friend exhibits narcissistic traits and reacts negatively when you prioritize your own needs, remind yourself that their reaction stems from their insecurities, not a reflection of your worth. By maintaining empathy without compromising your boundaries, you can navigate these relationships with greater clarity and resilience. Another practical step is to cultivate a supportive network that reinforces your self-esteem. Engaging with friends or communities that value mutual respect can provide a counterbalance to the narcissist's manipulative tendencies. For instance, Participating in group activities where collaboration is emphasized can help reaffirm your worth outside of the narcissistic dynamic. This not only strengthens your sense of self, but also diminishes the impact of the narcissist's attempts to draw you back into their orbit of emotional turmoil. In conclusion, understanding the daily behaviors of narcissists, especially in response to being ignored, involves a blend of philosophical insight and practical strategies. By establishing boundaries, practicing compassionate detachment, and fostering supportive relationships, individuals can navigate these complex interactions with greater confidence and emotional resilience. Embracing these approaches not only aids in dealing with narcissists, but also promotes a healthier understanding of self-worth and interpersonal dynamics. Ultimately, the journey involves recognizing the interplay between self and others, leading to a more empowered and balanced existence. In an age where mental health awareness is at an all-time high, understanding the dynamics of narcissism has become increasingly urgent. The rise of social media and digital communication has created environments where narcissistic behaviors can thrive, leading to complex interpersonal relationships that often leave individuals feeling manipulated and confused. The phenomenon of narcissists reacting negatively when ignored is not merely a personal concern. It reflects broader societal issues regarding emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and the capacity for healthy relationships. As more people engage in online interactions, the potential for narcissistic behaviors to disrupt personal and professional lives escalates, making it essential to understand these patterns now. The key problem lies in the pervasive lack of awareness about narcissistic traits and their implications. Many individuals may not recognize the signs of narcissism or understand the emotional toll it can take when they attempt to set boundaries. Ignoring a narcissist can lead to a range of retaliatory behaviors that can be both subtle and overt, including gaslighting, emotional manipulation, and even public smear campaigns. This lack of understanding creates a gap in the ability to navigate these relationships effectively. As society grapples with increasing mental health challenges, the need for clear strategies to identify and manage narcissistic behavior becomes paramount. Without this knowledge, individuals may find themselves caught in toxic cycles that undermine their well-being. Furthermore, the current cultural climate emphasizes the importance of self-care and personal boundaries, yet those who are unaware of narcissistic dynamics may inadvertently compromise their mental health by failing to recognize when they are being manipulated. The ongoing conversations about mental health, self-advocacy, and emotional resilience are critical. However, these discussions often overlook the specific challenges posed by narcissistic individuals. As more people seek to prioritize their mental health, understanding how narcissists respond to being ignored is vital for fostering healthier relationships and environments. This knowledge empowers individuals to reclaim their agency and establish boundaries that protect their emotional well-being. Additionally, the rise of remote work and digital communication has blurred the lines between personal and professional interactions, increasing the likelihood of encountering narcissistic behaviors in various settings. Understanding the nuances of narcissism can equip individuals with the tools needed to navigate these complexities effectively. For example, in a workplace where a narcissistic colleague may react negatively to being overlooked in meetings, recognizing this behavior can help others develop strategies to manage their interactions, fostering a more collaborative and supportive environment. As organizations increasingly prioritize mental health and employee well-being, addressing the challenges posed by narcissism is essential for creating a healthy workplace culture. In summary, the urgency of understanding how narcissists respond after being ignored is underscored by current societal trends that emphasize mental health, self-awareness, and healthy relationships. The gap in knowledge regarding narcissistic behaviors and their implications can lead to significant emotional distress and hinder personal growth. By addressing this critical issue now, individuals can cultivate healthier interactions and foster environments that prioritize emotional intelligence and resilience. As the conversation around mental health continues to evolve, incorporating insights about narcissism is not just relevant, it is essential for navigating the complexities of modern relationships. Understanding the behaviors of narcissists, especially in the context of being ignored, requires a grasp of certain psychological and philosophical concepts. At the core of narcissism is a profound need for validation and attention. When someone with narcissistic traits feels ignored, it triggers a range of emotional responses rooted in their self-perception and interpersonal dynamics. This situation can be framed through the lens of existential philosophy, which explores the nature of existence, self, and the relationships individuals have with others. One key concept is the notion of the self, as articulated by philosophers like Kierkegaard and Nietzsche. They suggest that the self is not a static entity, but rather a dynamic construct shaped by interactions with others. For narcissists, their self-worth is heavily reliant on external validation. When they perceive that they are being ignored, it threatens their constructed identity, leading to feelings of inadequacy and rage. This reaction can be understood as a defense mechanism, an attempt to reassert their self-image by seeking attention through various means, such as manipulation or aggression. Another foundational idea is the concept of object relations, which stems from psychoanalytic theory. This theory posits that the way individuals relate to others is influenced by their early relationships, often with primary caregivers. Narcissists may have experienced inconsistent validation in their formative years, leading to a fragile self-esteem that craves constant affirmation. When ignored, they may resort to tactics like love bombing, gaslighting, or even passive-aggressive behavior to regain control and elicit a response from those they feel have slighted them. These tactics can be seen as attempts to re-establish their perceived superiority and maintain their self-image. The philosophical implications of these behaviors extend to the concept of agency and free will. Narcissists often operate under the belief that their needs and desires supersede those of others, which can lead to manipulative behaviors when they feel ignored. This raises ethical questions about the nature of interpersonal relationships. How do we navigate the balance between self-assertion and respect for others? Engaging with a narcissist can often feel like a moral dilemma, as their actions may compel individuals to question their own boundaries and self-worth. Empirical studies have shown that narcissistic individuals often exhibit higher levels of emotional volatility when faced with perceived rejection. For instance, research indicates that narcissists are more likely to respond with anger or aggression when they feel slighted. This emotional response can be linked to their underlying insecurities, which are exacerbated by feelings of neglect. Understanding this can help those interacting with narcissists to anticipate their reactions and respond in ways that protect their own emotional well-being. Visual aids can enhance understanding of these concepts. For example, a flowchart could illustrate the cycle of narcissistic behavior following perceived neglect, highlighting the emotional triggers and subsequent actions. Alternatively, a diagram mapping the interplay between self-esteem, validation, and interpersonal relationships could provide a clearer picture of the dynamics at play. Ultimately, recognizing these patterns is crucial for anyone dealing with narcissistic individuals. By understanding the philosophical and psychological underpinnings of their behavior, individuals can better navigate these complex interactions, setting appropriate boundaries while maintaining their own sense of self. Engaging with narcissism is not merely a personal struggle. It invites deeper reflections on the nature of self, identity, and the ethical dimensions of human relationships. Understanding the behavior of narcissists, particularly their reactions to being ignored, can be enriched through philosophical frameworks such as existentialism and stoicism. Existentialism emphasizes individual experience and the search for meaning, while stoicism teaches the importance of personal resilience and emotional regulation. By applying these philosophical principles, individuals can navigate the complexities of interactions with narcissists more effectively. In practical terms, when faced with a narcissist's attempts to regain attention after being ignored, one might consider the existentialist perspective of authenticity. This approach encourages individuals to reflect on their own values and needs, rather than get swept up in the narcissist's drama. For instance, if a colleague who exhibits narcissistic traits seeks validation after being overlooked in a meeting, instead of providing immediate attention, one could take a moment to assess their own feelings about the situation. This self-reflection can lead to a more grounded response, such as addressing the colleague's behavior directly and setting boundaries without succumbing to emotional manipulation. Another practical application is the Stoic strategy of focusing on what is within one's control. When a narcissist reacts negatively to being ignored, they may resort to guilt-tripping or passive-aggressive behavior. Recognizing that one cannot control the narcissist's feelings or reactions allows for a more measured response. For example, if a friend displays narcissistic tendencies and becomes upset after being ignored, a Stoic approach would involve calmly acknowledging their feelings without engaging in a cycle of blame or emotional upheaval. This could mean responding with empathy, but also reinforcing personal boundaries, thereby maintaining emotional equilibrium. Philosophical concepts can also aid in understanding the underlying motivations of narcissists. From a psychological standpoint, many narcissists seek external validation to compensate for deep-seated insecurities. By recognizing this pattern, individuals can approach interactions with a sense of compassion rather than frustration. For instance, when a family member displays narcissistic behavior after being ignored, one might choose to engage in a conversation that highlights their strengths, thereby redirecting their need for validation in a constructive manner. This not only fosters a healthier dynamic, but also demonstrates the power of empathy in mitigating conflict. However, challenges inevitably arise when applying these strategies. One significant obstacle is the emotional toll that interactions with narcissists can take. The constant push and pull of seeking validation can leave individuals feeling drained. To counteract this, cultivating a strong personal philosophy becomes essential. Engaging in regular self-care practices, such as mindfulness or journaling, can help maintain emotional resilience. For example, after a particularly draining encounter with a narcissistic individual, setting aside time for reflection can clarify personal values and reinforce the importance of self-worth, independent of external validation. Furthermore, it's crucial to recognize when to disengage completely. Sometimes the best strategy is to limit or cut off interactions with a narcissist, especially if the relationship is toxic. Philosophically, this aligns with the notion of self-preservation and the pursuit of a meaningful life. By prioritizing one's own mental health, individuals can create space for more fulfilling relationships that align with their values. In conclusion, navigating relationships with narcissists through the lens of philosophy offers valuable insights and practical strategies. By embracing existential authenticity, stoic resilience, and empathetic engagement, individuals can effectively manage the challenges posed by narcissistic behavior. Ultimately, fostering a strong sense of self and setting clear boundaries can lead to healthier interactions and a more meaningful existence. Narcissists often engage in a series of calculated behaviors when they feel ignored, a phenomenon that can be understood through the lens of philosophical inquiry into human nature and interpersonal dynamics. One advanced strategy they employ is the manipulation of social perception. When ignored, a narcissist may escalate their efforts to draw attention back to themselves, often through dramatic displays or provocations. This behavior can be analyzed through the philosophical framework of existentialism, particularly the idea that individuals seek meaning and validation through relationships with others. The narcissist's need for constant affirmation reflects a deeper existential void, prompting them to create scenarios that force their targets to re-engage. For example, a narcissistic individual might post provocative content on social media or engage in gossip to elicit a reaction, thus re-establishing their centrality in the social landscape. This tactic not only reaffirms their self-worth, but also reinforces their control over the narrative, illustrating the philosophical concept of power dynamics in social interactions. The implications of these strategies extend beyond mere attention-seeking. They reveal a complex interplay of psychological and philosophical elements that can be observed in real-life case studies. Consider the case of a workplace environment where a narcissistic manager feels sidelined by a team member who has chosen to disengage. In response, the manager may initiate a campaign of passive-aggressive remarks or public criticism aimed at undermining the team member's credibility. This behavior can be viewed through the lens of Friedrich Nietzsche's concept of the will to power, where the narcissist seeks to assert dominance and control in response to perceived threats to their self-image. The resolution of such conflicts often hinges on the awareness and strategic responses of those being targeted. By employing techniques such as setting firm boundaries and practicing emotional detachment, individuals can reclaim their agency and disrupt the narcissist's cycle of manipulation. Ultimately, the climax of understanding narcissistic behavior lies in recognizing the underlying motivations that drive these actions. Philosophically, this awareness can cultivate empathy while simultaneously empowering individuals to protect their own mental well-being. For instance, a therapist might guide a client through the process of identifying the narcissist's patterns, helping them to reframe their responses from reactive to proactive. This shift can lead to a more empowered stance, transforming the dynamic from one of victimization to one of assertive self-advocacy. By applying these insights, individuals can navigate the treacherous waters of narcissistic interactions with greater clarity and resilience, ultimately leading to healthier relational patterns. In essence, the journey through the complexities of narcissism illuminates not only the darker aspects of human nature, but also the potential for personal growth and empowerment in the face of psychological manipulation. Understanding the behaviors of narcissists, particularly how they respond after being ignored, can offer profound insights into human relationships and the philosophical underpinnings of self-identity and social dynamics. Narcissism, characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance and a deep need for admiration, often manifests in specific reactions when they perceive a lack of attention. Research by Dr. W. Keith Campbell and Dr. Joshua D. Miller highlights that individuals with narcissistic traits may experience heightened emotional distress when ignored, leading them to engage in attention-seeking behaviors to re-establish their self-worth. This response is rooted in their fragile self-esteem, suggesting that the act of ignoring them can trigger a defensive mechanism aimed at regaining control. Philosophically, this situation raises questions about the nature of selfhood and the interdependence of individuals in social contexts. The existentialist viewpoint, particularly as articulated by Jean-Paul Sartre, posits that existence precedes essence. This means that individuals define themselves through their actions and interactions. For narcissists, their identity is often contingent upon external validation. When ignored, they may react with anger or manipulation, reflecting a deep-seated fear of non-existence in the eyes of others. This aligns with Sartre's notion that being seen by others is integral to one's self-concept, making the act of ignoring a powerful philosophical statement about autonomy and recognition. Anecdotal evidence from various therapeutic settings supports this understanding. Clients who have dealt with narcissistic partners often report that ignoring their partner leads to increased attempts at manipulation, ranging from guilt-tripping to overt displays of anger. One case study involved a woman who chose to disengage from her narcissistic spouse. Initially, her partner reacted with rage, attempting to provoke her into a response. Over time, however, his behavior escalated into more desperate attempts to regain her attention, including public displays of affection towards others, aimed at inciting jealousy. This illustrates the lengths to which narcissists will go to reclaim their perceived status, revealing the emotional turmoil that underpins their actions. Statistics from the National Institute of Mental Health indicate that narcissistic personality disorder affects approximately 0. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that individuals in relationships with narcissists often experience higher levels of anxiety and depression. This data underscores the real-world implications of understanding narcissistic behaviors, as it highlights the need for awareness and coping strategies for those affected by such dynamics. Furthermore, the philosophical implications extend to the broader societal context. The rise of social media has amplified narcissistic tendencies, with platforms serving as arenas for validation and attention-seeking behavior. Research by the Pew Research Center indicates that individuals who frequently engage in social media are more likely to exhibit narcissistic traits. This cultural shift prompts a re-evaluation of how society values self-promotion and external validation, raising ethical questions about authenticity and the nature of relationships in a digital age. In conclusion, the interplay between narcissism, self-identity, and social dynamics offers rich philosophical insights. By examining the behaviors of narcissists in response to being ignored, we gain a deeper understanding of the vulnerabilities that underpin their actions and the societal structures that may reinforce these behaviors. Recognizing these patterns not only fosters empathy, but also encourages healthier interpersonal relationships, ultimately contributing to a more nuanced understanding of human nature and social interaction. Narcissism, a concept deeply explored in both psychology and philosophy, often leads to a cycle of behavior that can be perplexing, especially when someone chooses to ignore a narcissist. When you ignore a narcissist, they may respond with a range of tactics designed to regain your attention and affirmation. This behavior is not just a personal quirk. It reflects a broader philosophical inquiry into the nature of self and the human need for validation. Philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche and Jean-Paul Sartre have long debated the implications of ego and the self, suggesting that narcissistic behavior can be seen as a desperate attempt to affirm one's existence in a world that feels indifferent. One significant aspect of narcissism is the concept of narcissistic injury, which occurs when a narcissist feels slighted or ignored. This injury can trigger a variety of responses, from passive-aggressive behavior to outright rage. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer emphasized the idea that suffering is inherent to the human condition, and narcissists often manifest this suffering through their need for external validation. When you ignore them, they may spiral into a state of existential dread, leading them to seek attention through manipulation or drama. This cycle not only affects their relationships, but also raises questions about the nature of self-worth and identity. How does one define themselves when stripped of external validation? This question is pivotal in understanding the philosophical underpinnings of narcissism. In practical terms, recognizing these behaviors can provide actionable insights for those dealing with narcissists. Understanding that their reactions stem from a deep-seated need for validation can help you navigate interactions more effectively. For example, if you find yourself in a situation where a narcissist is trying to provoke a reaction after being ignored, it may be beneficial to maintain your boundaries firmly, yet compassionately. Experts suggest that responding with empathy, while still holding your ground, can sometimes diffuse their need for attention without escalating the situation. This approach aligns with philosophical teachings about compassion and understanding, reminding us that while we may not condone narcissistic behavior, we can still approach it with a degree of understanding. Furthermore, engaging with narcissists can prompt a deeper reflection on your own values and boundaries. The act of ignoring a narcissist can serve as a powerful statement about self-respect and the importance of healthy relationships. Philosophically, this aligns with the idea of self-actualization, where individuals strive to realize their potential and assert their autonomy. By choosing to ignore toxic behavior, you are essentially affirming your own worth and setting a precedent for how you wish to be treated. This act can lead to a greater understanding of personal boundaries and the importance of mutual respect in relationships. Ultimately, navigating relationships with narcissists requires a blend of self-awareness and philosophical insight. By understanding the underlying motivations behind narcissistic behavior, you can better equip yourself to handle these interactions thoughtfully. It's about striking a balance between compassion for their struggles and a firm commitment to your own well-being. As you reflect on these dynamics, consider how they resonate with broader philosophical questions about identity, self-worth, and the nature of human relationships. Recognizing the philosophical dimensions of narcissism not only helps in personal interactions, but also enriches our understanding of the human experience as a whole. Understanding the dynamics of narcissism, particularly how narcissists react when they feel ignored, offers valuable insights that can be applied within the framework of philosophy. Narcissists often seek validation and attention, and when they perceive a lack of it, they may resort to manipulative tactics to regain control or provoke a reaction. This behavior can be analyzed through philosophical lenses, such as existentialism and ethics, prompting deeper reflections on the nature of self, identity, and interpersonal relationships. By recognizing these patterns, individuals can cultivate a more profound understanding of their interactions and the motivations behind them. The first actionable step is to cultivate self-awareness. By reflecting on your own responses to narcissistic behavior, you can identify triggers and emotional patterns that arise in these interactions. This self-reflection aligns with philosophical inquiry, encouraging you to examine your values and beliefs about self-worth and validation. Engage in practices such as journaling or meditation to explore your thoughts and feelings. This will not only help you navigate interactions with narcissists more effectively, but also empower you to establish healthier boundaries, fostering a sense of autonomy and self-respect. The second step is to develop critical thinking skills. Philosophical training emphasizes the importance of questioning assumptions and analyzing arguments. Apply this to your encounters with narcissistic individuals by critically evaluating their statements and actions. Rather than taking their behavior personally, consider the underlying motivations and insecurities that drive them. This perspective can help you detach emotionally from their manipulations, allowing you to respond with clarity rather than reaction. By reframing your understanding, you can engage in more constructive dialogues and avoid falling into the trap of emotional turmoil. Next, consider the ethical implications of your responses. Philosophy encourages us to think about the consequences of our actions on ourselves and others. When dealing with narcissists, it's essential to strike a balance between self-protection and empathy. While it's crucial to safeguard your emotional well-being, acknowledging the humanity in others, even those who exhibit narcissistic traits, can lead to more compassionate interactions. This doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior. Rather, it's about recognizing the complexity of human nature. By fostering empathy, you can navigate these relationships with a sense of moral clarity and integrity. Finally, engage with a community that shares your philosophical interests. Join discussion groups, online forums, or workshops focused on psychology, philosophy, and interpersonal dynamics. Engaging with others who are exploring similar themes can provide support, new perspectives, and practical strategies for dealing with narcissistic behavior. This collective exploration can deepen your understanding and enhance your ability to apply philosophical insights in real-life situations. In conclusion, the insights gained from understanding narcissistic behavior can significantly enhance your philosophical journey. By cultivating self-awareness, developing critical thinking skills, considering ethical implications, and engaging with a supportive community, you can transform your interactions with narcissists into opportunities for personal growth. Embrace this journey with determination and curiosity, knowing that each step forward not only benefits you, but also contributes to a more profound understanding of human relationships. Take action today. Reflect, engage, and empower yourself to navigate the complexities of narcissism with wisdom and resilience. In the realm of philosophy, the dynamics of narcissism invite us to reflect on the nature of selfhood and interpersonal relationships. When we consider the daily behaviors of narcissists, particularly after being ignored, we uncover a profound commentary on the human condition. Narcissists often engage in a relentless pursuit of validation, revealing an existential void that prompts them to seek affirmation from others. This behavior can be seen as a manifestation of a deeper philosophical inquiry. What does it mean to be truly seen and valued? The paradox of narcissism lies in its superficiality. While it craves recognition, it simultaneously erects barriers that prevent genuine connection. This invites us to ponder the essence of our own identities and the ways in which we seek acknowledgement from the world around us. Are we too caught in cycles of validation? Or can we cultivate a sense of self that transcends the need for external approval? As we delve deeper into the implications of these interactions, we are called to examine our own responses to narcissistic behavior. Ignoring a narcissist may seem like a straightforward act, but it can lead to a cascade of reactions that reflect both their fragility and our own resilience. This interplay serves as a reminder of the importance of self-awareness and the need to establish boundaries in our relationships. In philosophical terms, this is an exploration of autonomy versus dependency, how we navigate our sense of self in relation to others. By recognizing the patterns of narcissism, we empower ourselves to step back and reassess our interactions, fostering healthier connections based on mutual respect rather than superficial validation. The journey toward understanding narcissism is not merely about identifying toxic behaviors. It is an invitation to engage in a deeper exploration of our values, our relationships, and ultimately, our humanity. In embracing this exploration, we can cultivate a more profound understanding of ourselves and the world around us. As we reflect on the nature of narcissism and its impact on our lives, let us remember that the journey towards self-discovery and authentic connection is ongoing. Each encounter, Each moment of reflection serves as an opportunity for growth and insight. By engaging with these themes, we not only enhance our own lives but also contribute to a broader discourse on the nature of relationships and selfhood. In the end, the quest for authenticity in a world often dominated by superficiality is both a challenge and an invitation. Let us rise to this challenge, fostering connections that honor our true selves while encouraging others to do the same. In doing so, we can transform the narrative of narcissism into one of empowerment, resilience, and hope. Embrace the journey, for in the pursuit of genuine connection, we find the essence of what it means to be human